Ferdinand Magellan's name sparks visions of vast oceans, daring exploration, and humanity's quest to conquer the unknown. It's a story rooted in ambition, courage, and the sacrifices required to chase a vision larger than life. But the tale of his final voyage is not merely one of triumph. It's a saga of resilience in the face of defiance, betrayal, and a tragic destiny. Imagine this. The year is 1519. Magellan, a Portuguese mariner sailing under Spain's flag, surveys the horizon from the deck of the Trinidad. Behind him lies Spain, fading into the distance. Ahead stretches the yawning expanse of the Atlantic, the enormous unknown. For Magellan, there was no turning back. He had promised the Spanish crown to reach the Spice Islands by sailing westward, proving that a circumnavigable route across the globe existed. It wasn't just about spices or wealth. For Magellan, this was a chance to redeem himself. Cast aside by the King of Portugal, he had found refuge in Spain, his bold aspirations now funded by those who saw in him an opportunity for glory. Given 5 ships, a crew conflicted by nationality and loyalties, and one singular vision, Magellan's journey would push the limits of man's endurance and his own perseverance. From day one, the sea tested them. Fierce storms lashed at their sails, shaking even the most seasoned sailors. The ships suffered under the strain, with broken masts and dwindling rations becoming the rhythm of their days. By the time the fleet reached South America, Magellan had already begun to wrestle with mutinies, tests of loyalty that could undo everything. But Magellan was unyielding. By sheer force of will, he quelled dissent and pressed his men onward. Months passed, and the fleet faced the daunting southernmost tip of the Americas. The jagged coastline was unforgiving, the waters icy and turbulent. Many thought it impossible to pass, but Magellan believed otherwise. In October 1520, his persistence paid off. His ships entered a narrow, treacherous waterway. It would later be named in his honor, the Strait of Magellan. The strait defied description. Cliffs that jutted toward the sky hovered over twisting waters, threatening to immortalize their expedition as a failure. The sailors feared this labyrinth of rock and ice, but Magellan pressed them forward. At last, after weeks of navigating what felt like an endless maze, they emerged into an ocean unlike any they had ever seen before, serene, mild, and endless. Magellan named it the Pacific, the peaceful sea. Yet the peace belied the challenges to come. The Pacific's vastness proved an endurance test. Desperation seeped into the bones of the crew. Without sight of land for weeks, cascading into months, hunger took its toll. Rotting foods, scurvy, and despair ravaged their spirits. Magellan fought to maintain unity, reminding them that their suffering was the precursor to greatness. Still, his determination was not enough to heal sick men or fill empty stomachs. By the time they sighted land in the Philippine Islands in March 1521, the fleet had been reduced to ghosts of its former self. For Magellan, the Philippines seemed a promise fulfilled. The lands offered respite, fertile soils, fresh water, and kind natives willing to trade supplies the crew needed desperately. But Magellan was more than a navigator. He fancied himself a diplomat, and perhaps a conqueror. Befriending Raja Humabon, he saw an opportunity to turn alliances into wider influence. But Magellan's ambition overreached this time. Humabon, embroiled in rivalries, asked for help against Lapu-Lapu, a local chief determined to resist foreign intervention. Sensing an opportunity to impress upon the natives Spain's military might, Magellan agreed. As dawn broke on April 27, 1521, Magellan and his men stormed the shores of Mactan, expecting victory. Instead, they were met by warriors fierce with resolve. Outnumbered, weighed down by heavy armor, ill-suited for island combat, Magellan's forces faltered. Magellan himself, leading from the front, fought valiantly, but he underestimated his foes. Armed with spears and bravery, Lapu-Lapu's warriors closed in. Magellan was struck repeatedly, his body falling to the sand, the waves licking at his lifeless form. The dreamer who had seen beyond horizons had met his end, his vision left unfulfilled. His death nearly broke the expedition. The once five-strong fleet was reduced to one battered ship, the Victoria. Under the command of Juan Sebastián Elcano, the remaining crew pushed forward. They reached the Spice Islands, loading their precious cargo, and then continued westward to complete the journey of the ages. Years after their departure, the Victoria sailed into Spain, weathered but triumphant, marking humanity's first successful circumnavigation of the globe. Magellan's legacy transcends his earthly end. Though he fell in battle, his daring spirit lives on in every sailor's tale of uncharted waters, every map drawn to connect continents. He envisioned a world where the oceans united rather than divided, daring men to challenge the limits of exploration and ignite the age of discovery. Today, when the winds rush across the straits that bear his name, they carry whispers of Ferdinand Magellan, a dreamer and leader whose final voyage proved that the human spirit was destined to chart the stars and seas. Like and subscribe for more thrilling historical tales, and don't forget to share your thoughts and insights in the comments below.